Hello, and today with the game going on, I'm going to do a quick preview of it. I should have gotten this out sooner, but I was waiting for some of the injuries to kind of set through, if you will. And for New Orleans, what we do have as out are Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end, Teron Armstead, the left tackle, and Nate Stupar, who is more of just a reserve linebacker for them. Now, the important one here is Teron Armstead, which means we're going to see Ryan Ramczyk go up against Everson Griffin and Dale Hunter out on the left side. So I think that could be a very large mismatch in all of this. You might give Breeze less time for some bad decisions. Hopefully we can throw in some crowded areas with Rhodes and Harrison Smith back there. It's kind of the hope. The fact that Teron Armstead was even able to come off the pup is kind of amazing, judging that Taylor Decker has the same injury and he's on IR. And then the questionable one for them is Stephon Anthony, the linebacker out of Clemson, their first-round pick, who has been not the greatest since they took him. I'm leaning towards he's probably going to play, but I don't know if he's such a big factor that it matters so much. And then for your and my Minnesota Vikings, we have Danny Isidora as labeled out. Tremaine Brock was listed questionable, who is not expected to play because he's nursing kind of a groin injury, plus he's a recent addition. So we are going to see Mackenzie Alexander start the game in the nickel corner spot. And I do think this is kind of Mackenzie's chance to show him that he can play that spot. You're talking Drew Brees week 1. He's going to target that spot frequently. The only thing that helps him out is that Willie Snead was suspended for 3 games. And so you're likely to see a plethora of guys line up as that third receiver spot, and more likely a more running-based attack. You might see Alvin Kamara even in that slot spot right there, lining up as more of a Y receiver, if you will. And then if you go to last year's the rankings, New Orleans was 27th in total defense. They were 32nd in passing, and they were 14th in rushing defense. So hopefully that helps us a bit, because I do think our passing attack could actually be pretty decent this year with the additions of Dalvin Cook and hopefully a better offensive line. Like it looks better on the surface, especially if Laquan Treadwell pops up. So this could be a good game for the passing side. The 14th rushing defense kind of worries me, as that seems to be pretty average, and our line is not yet tested. So it might be a decent test in terms of the run game. I wouldn't believe everything we see in the past game if it explodes. If it doesn't explode, it's also week 1, so it's hard to. You don't want to overreact to it, because this is almost like an extension of the preseason. Almost, these guys really haven't played, and you need the chemistry to work. So it's really hard to take away from these first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And then once you get into weeks 4 and 5, I believe that's when you start to really hit your stride. So I don't think we could take anything from this game exactly like this is the end all be all. This is what it will be all season. Not necessarily. So, but they were just total. I think we might have a decent day on offense. This might be a team that can get up to 25, 24 points. So, which I think if we do that, we possibly win the game with our defense if it can play well enough, because their offense ranked first last season in passing. So with our third ranked passing defense last year, hopefully we can slow it down. And then, so while we're talking about per game, they allowed 375.4 yards, like total per game last year. That's what the New Orleans Saints did. This is a game where we need to have some people explode, whether it be Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, Diggs, Thielen, Treadwell, Rudolph, someone. We just need someone to show up big, because honestly, that would be a little bit of a disappointment on our side if we don't have anyone really level his playing field for us on that side. If we talk about the defensive side, though, that's where the challenge is, really, just trying to stop Breeze. Like I said before, with Snead out, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more 2 receiver sets, maybe 2 tight ends, 1 tight end, some more single back, maybe some I form with Adrian or Mark Ingram just pounding it right up the middle at Tom Johnson because we know what he is. He's more of a nickel pass rusher. Run game, not so much. So he is more of a liability there. That's a spot where I eventually would like to see Jaleel Johnson step up forward in this game just because he's a much better run defender. And if they game plan this the right way, I think they should start him. I think right now with Sharif Floyd out, I think we're looking for more of a situational start. Like, okay, what does this team like to do? We'll start him. We'll start that. Kind of like that kind of thing. So, and with how this team might attack us because of how our passing defense works, along with them being down a receiver and trading away Brandon Cooks, because now we're talking Ted Ginn and Michael Thomas are really the only options outside of Kobe Fleener, the tight end, in the passing game, unless you're adding Alvin Kamara in there. That's why I think if they're going 3 receiver set, don't be surprised to see Alvin Kamara out in the slot. He is a very good receiving back, and he can run routes like a receiver. So that would not be surprising at all. And that's what Mackenzie Alexander is going to have to deal with. You might see some bigger guys in there, like Brandon Coleman, even who's 6'6", like 235, I believe. So we're going to see some things about Mackenzie Alexander. This is his time to show the coaching staff that he can actually play the nickel spot after they went out and got Tremaine Brock to go play his spot, essentially. So if he plays well this game, we may see Mackenzie Alexander in the starting nickel in Pittsburgh next week. So this, depending on how that goes, we could see Tremaine Brock there, and I think Tremaine Brock, either way, is our fourth corner, and we might use Terrence Newman as a reserve safety. So I think no matter what, we're using those two as, at the very least, reserve roles. They like Trey Waynes this year. If it's Trey Waynes struggling, Tremaine Brock can play out there too. So this is nothing that... Well, I do think that move says a lot more about Mackenzie Alexander than does Trey Waynes, because they actually love Trey Waynes this year. Every time you read about them, they are so bullish on Trey Waynes, it's insane. I would lay off a little bit on Trey just because of what Garcon did to him against the Niners. I almost said the Redskins. Need to get used to that. But yeah, I think this is a game we can definitely win. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to shape out, just because there's a lot of changes on both sides that are going to be facing each other on that offensive, defensive, them defensive, us offensive. There are so many changes. It's hard to tell what will happen, but I think we will win this game. That's not a homerism. I just think we will win this game. I think we're actually going to end up winning this game 24-17. I'm not thinking this is going to... I think it's going to be close and competitive. I think it's going to go kind of down to the wire, maybe. So I'm going to go 24-17 Minnesota. Before this goes up, if you want to talk about this at any time or after, I will have a game recap probably coming up tomorrow, just strictly because of how late it might be going. So I'm going to do the recap tomorrow. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Until then, farewell.